Today we're going to take a look at The Outer Worlds.
So what's going on, everybody? Today we're looking at The Outer Worlds, 2019, what would you call it? First-person RPG story, single player.
It's hard to pin down because it does a little bit of everything.
And this title's brought to us by Obsidian Studios?
Yes.
Obsidian Entertainment.
Obsidian Entertainment, yep. Makers of South Park Stick of Truth, great game. They also made Fallout New Vegas, that's a great game. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, and then they made some poopers like Dungeon Siege 3 or something like that. I don't know. I think it's like a third-person deal. It was awful. All those games that I think there's like 12 of them. They're all terrible. I got them all in a bundle for like $3, and I played them for 5 minutes, and I was done.
So like we said, this is a first-person single-player game. So for all of you people that don't like the multiplayer aspect of a lot of games nowadays, this is a single-player only. You cannot play it with anybody but yourself.
Story-driven.
Story-driven. Really story-driven.
But we'll get to that in a bit. So what did you think about the graphics?
You know what? I liked them. I had a little bit of an issue with the color palette just because I prefer a darker game, and this game is very vibrant.
Vivid, yes. Especially if you have an HDR monitor, it really stands out.
Oh, it's so bright. It's loud. It's very loud. Every single world seems like it's just pinks and reds and greens and blues and yellows. And I prefer the more grounded story, but this is more, it reminded me of almost a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, it's lighthearted.
Yeah. And even the graphics will bring you to that I'm like, this Sneetches or whatever.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Yeah.
I mean, it's very, very bright and loud. Not to say that's necessarily bad, just not the style that I usually go for.
Correct. I would agree. I'm more of a darker tones and ominous as opposed to lighthearted and whimsical.
Yeah. So, sound-wise, the music didn't really stand out to me so much, but didn't take me out of anything. I don't remember any parts where I'm like, oh, God, that's terrible.
Or, wow, that's really good. I can't wait to jam to that later.
Now, we will talk about the voice acting because that's probably 60% of the game.
60? I would say like 95.
It's very good. I liked the voice acting.
It's phenomenal.
I thought the writing was very good.
It's entertaining. It's witty. It's got some funny parts to it. There's just a lot of it.
A lot of it.
Excuse me, ma'am. Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough salt to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
A lot. I don't think we're overselling this. I think we're underselling it a bit. How much acting there is.
We'll talk about that in some gameplay. Yeah. There is a lot of story. Not to say that it's a bad story.
No.
But it is a crap ton of cutscene dialogue.
Definitely. I'll say shit ton. Because there was a ridiculous amount. I mean, to me, it was a bit off-putting how much there was.
It was, really.
Because you would start fighting, and then you got 27 minutes of dialogue of, asking, the questions would pop up, and you got, 1 through 5 that you could make your response, and you go through all that and listen to him, and then you got to go talk to this guy and listen to his life story, and I was just like, at some point I was just like, come on, I just want to get...
Where's the fighting?
Yeah, I don't want to...
Where's the fighting?
I've got 5 questions. My last question is get out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know anything else. And that's not how the game is played because some of the questions will lead you to other quests or lead you to other places that you can go and things of that nature. So you kind of have to go through it. So you did a gameplay of it.
I did a full walkthrough gameplay. hours and hours and hours, one after another. No talking by me, just playing the game. It was one of my first walkthroughs that I've ever done. But it, not even borderline on, it was tedious to not be able to skip anything.
Unless you like that stuff.
But there's some point where you're like, at hour 7, and you've spent 6 of those hours actually in a cutscene or cutscenes, you're like, okay, I don't care about this person. I just want to move on, and I couldn't do that. So it did get very tedious. Yeah,
we're a little thin.
It wore on me. It did. Now that's again we did talk about the voice acting. It's great. It's wonderful.
It's really good. If you like that, if you like games, you know, it reminds me a lot of the Telltale games, because there's a lot of voice acting that, but there's a lot of choices that you make, and the choices you make have impact. This one, you're just kind of watching the thing, but it's kind of a story-driven game in that aspect. If you like games where there's a lot of conversation and there's a lot of talking, yeah, this is going to be the game for you.
It's true.
And not a lot of combat.
And you get, so in this game, you get companions. You don't have to have them.
Nope.
And one of the choices that you can make, and my son did this. He did a playthrough of it as well. He killed everybody. Yeah. Everybody. Anybody he came up on, he killed. And you can do that. And so I'm like, you didn't have any companions? Nope. I was like, what about, because I always played with the mechanic girl. I can't think of her name. She was always one of mine, and then I had the
girl you
pistol
on the
girl.
First Planet, yeah.
And he's like, no, I killed her in the elevator. I'm like, what? I was invested in that character. I took her on all her quests. Yeah. Everything she wanted me to do, we would go do, and it was actually one of my favorite parts of the game, is interacting with your companions and helping them through their life story and what they're going through. To me, that, because, you know, like we were saying, there's not a whole lot of shooting in the game for a shooting game.
Unless you go around killing everybody.
Unless you go around killing shooting. Then you just kill everybody. Because you can walk into a town, a friendly town, and just mow people down, but then you can never go back there
you can never
either.
Go back, yeah.
They're always after you after that point. But yeah, he played the whole game and killed everybody. Just everybody.
Well, I guess if you want a game that has no dialogue, that's the way to play it.
It's true. Yeah. But yeah, so it does have those choices. You can choose who lives and who dies. Yeah, if you want to make the game shorter, and in fact, I think somebody did a 6-minute completion of the game.
With the bad ending?
Yeah, with the bad ending. Another person did. In fact, Obsidian developers actually watched it, and I didn't watch it, but they reacted to a 13-minute playthrough of the game. A whole game in 13 minutes if you want to, if you play it like that.
That's how much combat there is if you take out all the dialogue. It's 13 minutes.
So there are, as far as the combat goes, I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it's first-person shooter, sometimes third-person. You've got talents that you can pick from, and some of your talents will affect your companions. There's talents to where you can pick that if you go solo, you do more damage to kind of make up for the lack of companions.
Your companions actually have cooldown abilities that you can manage, and actually it's one of the better ways to play through, I think, because you can, like the two girls that I played with, one had a big hammer, and she'd just walk up and stun everybody. She'd do a big hit on the ground and stun the whole.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a pistolier kind of player, and her special she'd just like shoot somebody and kind of almost one-shot everything. But they have a pretty long cooldown, so you can manage that, and
you can take their weapons. If you want to be the hammer person, you can steal her weapon from her and give her your weapon and go up and start smashing people with the hammer. It's not a first-person shooter. I mean, you can go up and start meleeing people if you want, if that's what you really want to do.
So I thought the RPG element to it, they tried. I don't think it really went over.
Yeah.
Basically, all I did was, does this weapon do more damage than that one? Then that's what they're using. Does this armor have a higher armor rating? There are things that give you, like, because you can...
More sneak.
What you get to do is,
hacking, things of that nature.
There's a huge list of talents that you put your points into. First person, or...
There's probably 15, 20.
One-hand melee, two-hand melee, pistols, long guns, intelligence...
Healing,
technology, yes, all of that.
All that stuff.
And some of the armor has like +5 to this or +5 to that, but I played the whole game through and never bothered with any of that. Never. I just put on what had the most armor and went. The combat to me, and I probably could have played it on a higher difficulty, was to the point where, and I fault Borderlands for this as well, is it lacks for me depth in the combat, and maybe it's because I've been playing a whole lot of like shooters where you have to take cover and things like that.
Gotcha.
I feel like all I do is jump around to try to not get hit as I'm shooting. I don't feel like there's much strategy to it. You just shoot stuff and try to get out of the way of the bullets. There's no like, okay, well I'm going here and then I'm gonna move over here, cover to cover or anything like that. It's just you just kind of jump around and shoot stuff. Where
I just played it the same way I do everything else. I just grab a sniper rifle and sit back from afar and have my 2 minions go in, and I just sit back and pick them off as I see fit.
But as far as enjoyability, I would say it's as good as a Borderlands when you're in combat.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say it's enjoyable. It all depends on how many companions you have. Because the first time I played it through, I tried to play it without companions, and I just didn't like it. And then the second time I played it again, I picked up 2 companions, and I thought it was more enjoyable that way. And I'm pretty sure that's how they meant it to be played, is with companions.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Even though they have abilities that if you're solo, you do more damage, you do like 5% more damage. I'm like, well, the companions do way more than that.
For sure.
So it seemed like if you wanted on hard mode, go solo and increase the difficulty.
All right. So as far as price goes,
I have no idea how much the game costs. To be honest, I mean, we both have the Xbox Game Pass, and it's available on the Xbox Game Pass. So if you have the $10 version from the PC, that the monthly subscription, we did a review about that. We both really liked it, and that game is part of it. It's a brand new AAA game, and if you get a month's worth of Game Pass, you get access to it.
And if you don't like anything else on Game Pass, you can stop it after a month, and you just got a AAA game for $10.
Yep. It's also available on Epic, but it is not available on Steam.
Yes.
It won't come out until Steam till sometime this year.
Yeah, 2020 at some point.
Didn't see a release date, but those are the 2 platforms that it's available on as far as PC is concerned. Is Game Pass and Epic Games Launcher.
So, in your opinion, as our final thoughts on the game, would you tell somebody to pick it up?
If you liked Fallout New Vegas and those type of games, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, they made both of those. So I would say, yeah, if you like those games, pick it up. I don't know that I would pay $60 for it. I would absolutely get the Game Pass and play the game on the Game Pass. Yeah. That way, if I didn't like it, I'm out $10 and not $60. That's a personal preference of mine, but that's how I would do it.
So for me, it was worth a playthrough. It definitely did not. I don't feel any compulsion to go back and play it a second time.
No.
So it's a one and done. But it was. I would give it again, if you're paying $10 for a month of Game Pass, sure, why not? If you're out of things to play, if your favorite game is on hiatus, they haven't had an update in a while, feel free to pick it up, play through. It's not something I think everybody needs to play. It's not one of those, oh man, you got to do this. It's more of a, if you've got a lazy Saturday and you got $10 to burn, why not?
Might as well.
All right, gamers, that will wrap it up for our review of The Outer Worlds. We will see you next time. Take it easy.
Keep gaming.